Mr. Grinch, you really are a heel. You're as cuddly as a cactus and as charming as an eel, Mr. Grinch.
Alright, so this is Diesel for We the People. So, let's go with some words. Always remember, do not give consent. But always remember that every contract is also verbal. You can give contract by just using your words. I can make a deal with a guy, shake hands, that's a contract. Alright, and then this is what the courts do also. So anything you say can be held as a contract and as in writing. So you just don't think words are that powerful and all that, but it is. And this is how they pull you into contract. They also use your words and what you speak. That's the reason why the Fifth Amendment is really basically keep your mouth shut, because anything would be held against you, right? Well, you're entering verbal contract. So, let's pick out some words that you should not volunteer in. Alright? Person. Okay? Now look up the word, look up all these words, alright? And get the definition. The definition you want to think of is what benefits the courts or the government. Not the definition that we use daily. This is how they trick us. They use totally different definitions that we actually use every day, which goes into the reason why you don't understand, right? Okay, so person, just we call ourselves people and all that kind of stuff as persons and all that. But in all actuality, there's other definitions. A thing. A person is a corporation. So look up these words and what benefits the courts or the government, okay? So look up the definition of person and find out what benefits them and the words you use, okay? Passenger, okay? Passenger in all actuality in courts is someone that paying you to go from one place to another, right? Enhances bus driver, right? Well, you got to get a different driver's license to drive a school bus. Well, because we pay for the children to get back and forth to school by taxes, right? Which enhances that they, still the bus driver's getting paid to take your kids back and forth to school. That's the reason why you need a driver's license or a special driver's license and taxi service, right? Well, why would they need a special driver's license to be a taxi cab for passenger, right? Well, that's because the passenger is paying, right? So, never use passenger, always family and guest, because you just put the driver into commerce every time. Alright? Understanding. We talked about this a while back, or a couple of videos ago, right? You never understand. Because what it does is put you in jurisdiction. So far, all these words are putting you in jurisdiction of the courts, and you signed a verbal contract. Okay? So you agreed you're a passenger? Well, you're under commerce. Okay? So passenger is always a family or a guest. Adult, we talked about that. Mind of a child and legalese. Always go by age of majority. Driver. It's a commercial term. You start getting in the habit of using traveler. You know, you got a driver's license, so you're always going to be considered commerce. However, if you start training yourself to start using definitions than what they use, because there is no law saying that you can't go by the definition you use. The enhances, well, I understand I'm a driver. Well, you just entered their jurisdiction, right? Okay, so that was 2 words right there. You just gave the courts jurisdiction. Answer. Okay? Answer is always jurisdiction because you fell into giving up your Fifth Amendment rights. Every time you answer a question, you give up Fifth Amendment rights. It's so easy to fall into these things, right? Where you must answer me. Well, that's denying your Fifth Amendment. They are tricking you in to voluntarily to drop your Fifth Amendment. Alright? So that gives them what? Jurisdiction again, right? And we already talked about this. If you must give an answer, give a different definition than what they use. So look up definitions again, okay? And what benefits them, and always go by the direct. Or just always answer what definition you're using. They won't answer. Well, I can't give until I know what definition you're using, right? Well, are you going to refuse? No, you're not refusing. You're denying. Alright? Children. Child. It's a jurisdiction name. Okay? Some call it corporation, but it doesn't really matter whether it's a corporation or not. It's still giving them jurisdiction as son and daughters. Alright? So quit using these terms in court. This is how CPS gets power. This is how divorce courts get power. It's because you are using jurisdiction words. Okay? U.S. citizens, regardless of what you guys think of all these things, we don't need all these fancy words for our country. So you got to understand that each and every single word they use for our country has different definitions, different contracts. Okay? If you must answer anything, United States of America Republic. But don't just stop at United States of America. Add the Republic. That way they fully understand you are a republic. Not a citizen, not this, not that. Well, what are we going to do about signing these paperwork? I can't answer that. Scratch it out and put United States of America's Republic. Well, if they don't accept it, well, you know, that's on them. They didn't put enough words on there to describe what you are. Residence. Alright. Deep in the pocket, basically what residence is that you are leasing a property. Alright. I don't care if you paid off your property, it's a lease. Alright. Enhances, you are paying yearly rent for leasing the property you wink own. Alright, but you gotta dig deep, and this is all in these codes. Now lawyers and all that will say, well, this and this and this and this. This is the reason why you enhance. You hear some people, you got to dig in deep and understand this, because they don't give you this information because they want to keep jurisdiction over you. Right? They want to be the boss of you. How can they be the boss of you if you understand that you are the boss over them? Alright? So this is just a few words that we need to understand. Look up the definition And, it's going to take me a long time to give you definitions on this, and you guys don't really want to hear long videos anyway. Not my videos are usually too long. Okay? So, write these words down, pause it, write it down, look up the definitions, and use several definitions, or dictionaries, okay? Backlog, legalese, this and that, here and there. Alright? But always figure out what definition benefits the government and use the opposite. And in general, just don't use these words at all. When I go to court, I'm not a person. I'm a man. I'm a living man. Alright? So you cannot change person into a man, because man is overpowering and above a person. Right? You cannot get any higher than a man. That's the reason why men are in very few legal terms, because they are giving you authority of jurisdiction over them. Right? Does that make sense? If you're a man and you're above them, then you have jurisdiction over them. Alright? Residents, start using domicile. Start using that as where you live, Is it not? Look up the definition on that. See if that fits your property, especially if you own it. Right? Especially if the property is paid off. Okay? So, look up these words and fully understand of how they're getting you to voluntarily and giving consent of jurisdiction. Don't really have a whole lot more to say right now. This has been long enough. But just understand these words. Look up the definition. What benefits them? Benefits them. Gives them jurisdiction. So always look at it this way. What benefits them is giving them jurisdiction. What benefits you gives you freedom. No consent. Alright? And this is how they got power over us. Consent by the governed. Alright. This is Decent Food with the People. Till next time, y'all. Stay out of trouble. Don't push all these things too far.
You're a bad banana with a greasy black peel.
Bye, y'all.